Welcome to the sample exam question for the Observability Foundation course. Okay, let's go through the questions. So we'll start by asking the question, showing the possible answers, and then we'll show the correct answer. So the first question is, identify the missing words in the following sentence. Wrapping code with breadcrumbs to help enable observability through the entire development lifecycle is called what? Certainly not topology. That's kind of a network diagram. Observability success. No, that's nothing to do. Observability driven design, that makes sense. So when we say wrapping code, we're talking about making sure the software is designed with code to do this. So C is a good answer. Causal observability is more about maturity level observability. So the best answer is C, observability driven design. Okay, sample exam question 2. During which scanning process provides the best moment to execute a proactive security scanning on container images? So the earliest point would be not the CI/CD pipeline or when the registry is marked, but local development, that makes sense. C, once the image has been deployed, that's already late. So C is the best answer at local development. Question 3, what is automatic instrumentation? The first answer, code that emits telemetry that you did not have to write. So that's a good answer. Enhanced data flow management, no. Breaking things in a controlled environment, no, that's more about chaos engineering. D, application-specific code to add custom attributes. Well, it's a little related, but the best answer here is A, code that emits telemetry that you didn't have to write. Question 4, which of the following does not require time travel topology? Which does not. So 3 do and 1 doesn't. High pace of innovation from multiple teams. That's when you would use time travel topology. So that's not a good answer. Very diverse set of runtime, same thing. Very static execution environment in which services are constantly delivered. So that is a possible answer. You don't really need time travel topology for that because it's a static environment. Very diverse set of languages. Okay, so that would also not fit the question. So the best answer here is C, very static execution environment in which services are constantly delivered. All right, question 5, which of the following would allow the integration of additional security scanners? Okay, local development. Yeah, you can have scanners running in development, but I don't think that's what they're getting at here. Registry is a very specific point. Network update, not so much. CI/CD pipeline gives you multiple points for integration, so D is the best answer. Yes. Question 6, which of the following are components of cloud networking? Network interfaces, yes. Load balancers and gateways, yes. Network virtual appliances and VPNs, yes. So D, all of the above, is the best answer. Question 7, which of the following team patterns displays observability within an organization? Observability enablement is one of the patterns I remember on the slide. Observability center of excellence, yes. Observability teams, yes. So the best answer again is D, all of the above. Question 8, identify the missing words in the following sentence. All of the following are considered pillars of observability except which? Okay, so you may recall the pillars are metrics, logs, and traces. So events is not really it's related, but it's not a pillar of observability. So B is the best answer, events. Question 9, which is the biggest project under Cloud Native Compute Foundation, CNCF? Okay, you may recall it's Kubernetes, and OpenTelemetry was number 2. So A is the best answer. FinOps and MLOps don't have anything to do with it. Okay, question 10, identify the missing words in the following sentence. All of the following are golden signals for network observability, except which? Connectivities, to do with network observability, network uptime, yes. Packet loss, yes. Security events, no. So D is the correct answer, security events. Question 11, which instrumentation is highly context-driven and uses an inside-out approach? Agents are co-resident but not inside. Instrumenting with libraries, that's a good answer, B. Instrumenting with AI ML ops, not really. Refactoring could be involved, but mostly it's a better answer is B, instrumenting with libraries. Yeah. Question 12, what is the most advanced level of observability today? Proactive observability, that's certainly advanced. Monitoring is not. Causal availability is like level 3, and observability is like level 2. So the best answer is A, proactive observability. Question 13. Modern logging does not include logging without timestamps. That's a good answer. Log analysis, yes, it does. Distributed logging, yes, it does. Structured logging. So A is the best answer. Logs without timestamps. Question 14, what are some struggles with using distributed tracing in modern observability? No standards exist for transmitting. Yes, there are standards. Trace data is cheaper to store than logs. That's not true. Tracing is harder to implement than logs. Okay, that's a possible answer. Metrics are better for debugging. Well, that's also not true. So the best answer is C. Tracing is harder to implement than logs. Question 15, which of the following is not a reason that observability needs data ops? Observability needs data ops. Data security, possibly it is needed. Data flow management, yes. Automation. Authenticating users has very little to do with it. I think D is the best answer. Yeah. What does the acronym CSOC stand for? Common Security Operations Center. Not common. Centralized security, yes. B, not cryptology, not command server. So B is the best answer. Centralized Security Operations Center. Question 17, identify the missing words in the following sentence. Between processes, passing along just enough trace context to allow downstream service to continue the trace is known as, it's not trace distribution, it is trace propagation. B, nothing to do with distraction or storytelling. So B, trace propagation is the best answer. Question 18, which of these is a multi-layered map that shows how everything in the IT environment is related? Trend analysis is not a map, neither is causal determination, neither is upstream downstream relationships, although you may see that on a map. Topology is definitely the best answer, D. Okay, 19, what attribute on the span identifies how long it took? Span ID has nothing to do with time. Service name, no. Duration, yes. Trace ID, no. So the best answer is C, duration. Question 20, what is the specification of decision rights and accountability framework to ensure that appropriate behavior in the evaluation, creation, and consumption and control of data and analytics? Data foundation, no. Data sharing, no. Connected governance, no. Data governance, yes. So D, data governance. We're halfway through, guys. What does data paradox mean? Without care, more data means less information. That's a good answer, A. Without data governance, we would be clueless. That's a little extreme. Without data agility, full stack observability is not possible. I wouldn't say that. None of the above is not a good answer. So A is the best answer. 22, what AI machine learning use case can be used to provide guidance to site reliability engineering? Root cause analysis. Not directly. Predictive analytics, yes, that's helpful. Anomaly detection, maybe, but B's better. Event resolution could be helpful, but I think if they're looking for B, predictive analytics would be the best answer here. 23, what measure is used to decide whether an application functioned well enough in a particular instance? Functioned well enough. Uptime could be a measure, but it doesn't answer the question. SLO is more of an objective. Yes, engineering is more of a hypothetical test. SLI, service level indicator, that's certainly true. So D, service level indicator. Under the observability maturity model, what does level 3 indicate? So you remember level 1 was monitoring, level 2 was observability, level 3 was causal. So B, causal. 25, what makes distributed traces special compared to the traces that aren't distributed? Distributed traces show execution across services. That's true. Distributed traces reveal what happened concurrently and sequentially. That's also true, but A is a stronger answer. Any number of attributes can be added to distributed traces to show context. Yeah, but again, A is better. Distributed traces clearly identify the bottleneck. Not in and of themselves, they don't, but they can be used to do that. So A is the best answer. Distributed traces show the execution across services. Which of these is not a common challenge with observability? Environment inconsistency, that's certainly a challenge. Getting too many alerts can be a challenge. Unable to trace until the end, incomplete instrument, that can be a challenge. Too few dashboards, typically not. You often have trying to reduce the number of dashboards. So D, I think, is the best answer here. 27, which industry metrics indicate demand and workload? Utilization, use metrics, saturation, errors. Utilization is not so much about workload. ACE, availability is not about workload. Request throughput is not about workload. Latency, errors, and saturation. Well, actually, red is request throughput. That's actually related to demand and workload, errors, and duration. Tell you how long the work is continuing. So I think C, red, yeah. 28, which pillar is the best response to modern observability? Yeah, so modern, metrics, logs, and events have been around for a while. The newer approach is tracing, so C. Question 29, which of the following methods is not a goal of front-end observability? So from the user point of view, how well is it working? What is wrong? Those make sense to do. What is slow? Where are the sales funnel? It has nothing to do with sales funnel, so C is the best answer. In the community governed standard for transmission of telemetry, what does OTLP stand for? Over the limit protocol? No. Open telemetry protocol? Yes. B. Yeah.